So this was the ceremony for Rev Master Jiyu, founder of this temple, my master, and it's particularly poignant to be walking around this morning. In procession, it reminded me how memories do flood back, don't they, in the moment. And I would remember walking around Shasta Abbey, and she would be in procession, and we would be walking zigzag like that. And every now and then, I would be walking one way, and she'd be walking the other. And I remember I can only describe as a slight thrill that would come through me as we passed. It was a heart-to-heart connection, and over the years that became such that, as it said, the heart of the master and the heart of the disciple are one. And sometimes it becomes very apparent. Today it was very apparent. And that leads me on to what's in the box. This is my show and tell box. Much water has gone under the bridge since she ordained me and my Dharma brothers and sisters. There were 4 of us in a batch. So where to start? Well, let me think where to start. Rev Master would always say, if I give you something, please don't put it on a shelf and dust it off. I.e., things are to be used and not to be used as unhelpful, venerating objects, is all I can say. But they're to be used and given life. And so in a way I think I'm probably doing that by relating some of the memories and through items that I've been given or have received, so that it breathes some life of her to all of you. All of you. Rev Master had a life before she was a monk, that's clear, as this is obvious. Let's see what I've got in here. She was a girl guide, as was I, and she was in the, not sure if that's lavender or what, but it's a plant. I was in the kingfishers. And here's her girl guide badge. And at a certain point, I think after her death, I was in charge of giving, that's her girl, threefold promise to make as a guide. At a certain point after her death, I was sort of in charge of her household and her personal items, which were then offered up to people, and I received. I thought that's a connection with me in my history. I'm just trying to think. Oh yes, this piece of fabric. I like fabric, and this I think was a piece of fabric from one of her very gorgeous ball gowns, which she used to sing in choirs and things like that. It's I think it's roses on beautiful gold thread running through it, and we had a bowing seat, the mat that you see me standing on during a ceremony, and it's usually edged in gold brocade for funerals. I think weddings too. So we don't have one of those, but I have that from her time. John, do you think you could just put a clock by the gong there so I can see how we're doing? Oh,
Nice.
As we all know, Reverend Master Jiyu trained at Sojiji Temple in Yokohama by Kyoto, and there was something called the Monks Club. I don't think I've ever talked about this. Something called the Monks Club, and they all had a badge. This is our version, Shasta Abbey's version of it. It didn't have cloisonné green, but it's a lotus, a Bodhi leaf with the morning star in it. Shakyamuni Buddha was enlightened on seeing the morning star. And we had them made at Shasta, and people could use them. Initially only the lay ministers had them, then they were made more widely available. And I do have some that I got made, which I will offer to you all afterwards. Little baby ones, and some of you I think have already got them. Try and finish by 12. Wave at me, John, if it looks like I'm going over. Where do we go from here? There's a thread of Sojiji, so we'll go for Sojiji. This is the, what's it called? It's the explanation of the Kechimiaku, Kyuju-Kaimon, the precepts and commentary with translation of the Kechimiaku, done by Yogo, her teacher, who was really influential in her life as a young monk, and it's got the Sojiji crest. Those in the early days were given out as a little booklet for everybody to have, the Kyuju-Kaimon and commentary. What do we have here? And very faint. This is her personal incense box that is black lacquer with gold, and it's got the crest of Sojiji and Eiheiji, the other Soto Zen major training temple. And just before, Rev Master died in 1996, and I think it was the spring of 96, I suppose anticipating that she hadn't got long to live, and she didn't want her belongings to be lonely after she died. That's how she would describe people's belongings after they died. Don't allow the belongings to become lonely. Well, she was ahead of her game, so she passed on items to the senior monks that are around her. I was given the great honour of choosing what I'd like, because I was there, and since I had always in the sacristy picked up this and put it on the altar for her when she did a Dharma ceremony, I thought, oh, that's my connection, I'll keep that. So I have her personal incense box, which usually I offer incense from. And for those people who weren't there, she chose what they would have. I have a piece of, where is it? Well, I think this will do. There's another bit of it somewhere. Oh, yes. These were bits of a beautiful red kesa, which they got taken off, and this was part of it. It would have been here, and this patch here would be the patch here. They got taken off, and I took them off actually, because this whole kesa had to be made smaller for Master Leandra. It was originally given to Master Daishin. I remember her saying, Daishin can have my fancy kesa, which was bought for her for doing her ceremony when she became abbot at Sojiji, not Sojiji, Umpukuji. So there's a little bit of linking back there. And she said, Saido, and mock again. And somebody suggested, oh, the little stubby kiosak. It's called a teachings kiosak. It's not like the big long one, which may be behind me. And somebody said, oh, Saido? How about Saido having the kiosak and mock again? This? She said, no. Saido should have this. So And interestingly enough, this is going back to Reverend Master Mock again. She asked if she could have something that was used by Reverend Master Jiyu. So, lo and behold, Reverend Master Mock again's getting it. So she'll have the cue. She's got the Cusack and that. Yeah. As I was going through Reverend Sido's things, his little monastic treasures, it was my job to executor to do that, including that what's called a fountain scepter. It's a travelling one. It's a mini one. I came across this incredible item. What did we say these were, Liz?
They look. We thought they could be red garnets.
They are garnets. Yeah. And there's two of jewellery. She quite liked a bit of bling, really. She wouldn't have called it bling. So these are brooches that she's had made into the equivalent of this clip that I have on my kessa here. And so one day when I muster myself for a blingy kessa, which will go with this, I'll put this on the kessa. But that is not a priority. But it's lovely, isn't it? Garnets.
Gorgeous.
Did you say garnet? Somebody else said, what did you say, Harry? It was...
I thought someone said rubies.
Oh, rubies. No, I think they're garnets, aren't they? Liz knows, because she makes them.
Well, I'm not an expert. I know that garnets are semi-precious.
Right.
And rubies are very, very expensive, aren't they?
Yes, that's what I thought. Reverend Master, as you saw the badge thing with the morning star and the leaf. So I think of a generation. Maybe I was at the end of it, of badges and stickers and all that sort of thing. And you saw the sticker on the Sojiji emblem, and so she got some stickers for the OBC. This the ship and 3 drums. Is that right? Yeah, the ship and 3 drums. And I came across them somewhere and I picked them up, being just a person who picks that sort of thing up. And I think I saw something else. Oh, yes. I don't know if any of you know how you could get little covers for buttons, and this is a cover with OBC engraved on it. That's so cute. Never used. I think she probably had it done for something of her own. Yep. I don't know where she got this from, but it's a ring. I think it's actually a constructed ring, and we were always told, you won't be able to see it. Can you get in there? Yeah? It's got a little tiny kessa of gold brocade. We were always taught that you would always have something that reminded you of the precepts of the Buddha, or so, she had this. Many of us had lockets that we hung around on it with a folded up little kessa in it. It's drawn, it's drawn lines on a piece of fabric actually. So that I found in amongst Reverend Sido's things, because I think she must have given it to me years ago. What's more in the box? How are we doing for time? We're doing okay. Di, could you just read what's, since I don't have my glasses, can you just read what's on there? Or somebody?
Does anyone got mine on? Oh, there's no one can read.
Yeah,
it's upside down.
Duncan can read.
I'll read it.
You can read it out?
The closing of the
sarcophagus
of Reverend Jiyu, November 96.
I'll hold it up. Get it. See, this is the original, and it's appropriate that Duncan actually did this because this is the original lotus petals that we would distribute and strew around the room. They came from Japan, I think, and the thing that was a tradition was to pick up one of the petals from the ceremony, which obviously Reverend Sido did because I found this in a very interesting place. And he had put in it is tiny writing, he'd put a little note on the day and the time, and the sarcophagus is the closing of the coffin. We had about 6 ceremonies over a week of Rev Master Jiyu's obsequies, it's called, all the ceremonies you do when an abbot dies. So there's a ceremony for closing the coffin, would you believe? And he picked up this as a memento. I think somebody else has got a leaf with something written on it. Was it you, Joe?
I've inherited some of Reverend Sido's scripture book.
Yes.
I can't remember what.
You don't know which ceremony it was.
I also.
Did you get one?
You gave me monastic office, a small book, and in that there's a lotus petal with that written on it.
Was there something written on it?
Yes.
Can you remember what it was?
I think it's the same as that. I think it was related to the series of ceremonies.
Oh, brilliant.
Master Jiyu.
That's good. So that's why I say please pick up one of these petals that were strewn today, and you could write on the back of it the ceremony. Often we'd write it around there, or write it however you like, and then it would be placed on the altar, like so, on your altar, or like little petals around the edge of your altar. Do whatever you like. I can say this with a clear conscience because Duncan's going to make some more. Before I haven't let go of them, but now I think we can do that.
Some in process.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Thank you, Duncan. And they are very, very pretty, courtesy of TK Maxx.
Yeah, I'm looking for. Well, you had some really nice tissue type ones, but they're very difficult to write on. So when Reverend Mugo mentioned that, I started to look for paper that might do the job, and I found carrier bags in TK Maxx made of Indian handmade paper, and so I've been cutting them up and making the petals. But it's just a matter of chance whether they've got these bags in or not.
Thank you. I'll cut you short. Yes, I've got a little bit to go. Again, before Rev Master was ordained, she was a musician. I think that she went to Imperial College London and did an external degree from Durham. Don't publish that. And she was a Buddhist then, and she wrote an oratorio. That means a short piece with people singing. And this is a copy of the original score. So I have it in her own handwriting, admittedly not the original, which would have been a bit hard to find. And we used to practice and try and sing it. And I have to tell you, anybody in the soprano section was dying because the notes were so terribly high. She wasn't pleased with our efforts, really, but we tried. And so eventually it became published as... maybe I don't have a CD of it. I have... You can see my mind picking up things during my life as a monk at Shasta, and these are the words for the Great Enlightenment. With, I think, a drawing done by Rev Master Mock again, probably. During the last 3 years of her life, when she was not able to, she'd got diabetic neuropathy, which was creeping up her body. I think it had got to about here by the time she died. So the loss of, those of you who are nurses will know, you lose your feeling. And so she gradually was getting more and more unsteady on her feet. And then she basically lost the ability to stand up. And so she was then only able to move via wheelchair and be transferred via a hoist. And I was part of a team of people who cared for her, or did all the necessary. I won't say we cared for her as nurses do. We cared for her as her disciples. That's a very big, significant difference. And whilst, people care for me and look out for me, it's a way of expressing mutual gratitude, I think, and caring, and but that's significant. And look at those who kind of make sure I don't fall over or burn my robes. It's the role of what we used to call a chaplain or a jisha, and it's very much appreciated. One of you are my official disciples, so it's not the same. But it was a very great honour to be her assistant for those years. Scary sometimes, I have to tell you. As I can be a bit scary too, if I raise my voice or say something very direct. I don't mean to be on anybody's case or anything like that. So, she would often take off from her house in her wheelchair, or she called it her rascal for some reason, I'm not sure why. It might have been the brand name of her electric scooter. And so she would take off up the cloister, and I would say take off because it was quite brisk that she went, and those around her chaplains and assistants, all those important senior roches would be behind her, and as a novice you'd step off the cloister, watch out, you might get run over. So I always thought, you kind of think, those important monks, and they're with Rev Master Jiyu, and they spend time with her. And there I am at the end of the line, towards the end of her life, as one of those monks. I think, am I in the right place? Because there I was, along with all these senior roches or masters. And it was my job, for when she got out from underneath the cloister, which was shaded from the sun, to give her sunglasses. This took a lot of presence of mind and remembering, because for one, I had to have my hands found her sunglasses amongst her belongings, and actually have them to hand for when she wanted them. And she would go like this, having her hand up like that, and I would put these glasses in her hand. And one time I did it, and she said, "Not bad, Mugo." Like, not bad for being there and getting the right thing. And so these are her fake bamboo sunglasses, plastic, genuine plastic, which are probably genuine 50s, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And coming to a close now, it was part of my job to make sure she was in a clean robe, which was, and after she died, I inherited one of her robes, which is this raksu was made by one of the lay ministers for me. One of the first brown raksus. Actually, wasn't the first. And then it became official when Rev Master Daisri said, "Well, okay, yeah, you can all make brown raksus." Since actually we already have them. So Reverend Phoebe and I had one of these, and I very rarely wear it because it watermarks, and it's very easy to spill things on your raksu. Those of you who have them, you'll know how easy it is. There are other things in this box, but I'm not going to go on any longer. I've given you an idea, maybe, of Reverend Master. Just as I said, giving you an idea, when we wheeled her, or she wheeled herself in her indoor wheelchair between her den, her day room, to the lounge, or back again to her bedroom late at night. It could be over after 12. And sometimes she would just sing little songs. Songs from, maybe the 50s before she became a monk. Which was just lovely. Just lovely. And so I follow in her footsteps. Not literally. And these are called tabi, which would have been worn by her. Not that way round. Japanese white socks, cotton, with monks with very narrow ankles, which don't fit me any longer. But and another giveaway, they fit with little nifty Japanese nifty ways of fastening. But I hang on to them. Okay, some of this might be sentimentality. Did you see this box? I think you can. Oh, it's got stamps on one side, and you can see the side of it. Yeah. At a certain time, more 1 January, I gathered all the things for Rev Masters that I had and put them in this box. And it says on the side, Reverend Master Memories. And I thought, I would gather them all together. So if I ever lose my mind, and this apparently is very good to have things from way past to bring you to remember and your life, because having the items reminds you. But in the meantime, not planning to lose my mind, but you never know, I can share these with you. We've been talking a lot about death, and of course this time of year we are remembering. Can you see that? Well, there's an E high up over there which says in memory of all the dead, all those killed in wars and conflicts, and we've been talking about that, and the other Sunday also. And so when I handle these things, they are as a distant memory of Reverend Master Jiyu. But as I said today, as we walked in procession, she was very much alive. The spirit of her, although we don't talk about spirits in Buddhism, but the essence of her, which we all share. And that's the end of that. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha, and thank you people online for sticking with it. We are now going to have some tea, I guess.